and I think I did it. This is my first time. Um, I hope you're all enjoying it. Um, this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope you all can hear me. And we are currently live. So, 50th anniversary or 50th episode with the C.A.N report. I'm Mike Goldstein Stickers, and this is my wife, Krista Goldstein.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for being on my show. I'm nervous. This is live and this is 50th episode. So
You're nervous. I'm nervous.
but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have my wife. She graciously accepted my invite. It took a lot of coaxing and begging, almost on my knees, to have you on the show.
Had 49 episodes to get comfortable.
Yes. So thank you all for being a part of this. If it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be possible. I just want to give a shout out to this morning. I made a post about reflection, a post about being better and working on yourself and being humble. And this has taught me that. But that post I made was amazing to get that response that I got from you guys. I'm really, really proud of what we're doing. I'm proud of getting the message out. And I'm thankful for all you guys for giving me the support. And again, that post I made earlier today, it wasn't a bad day at work. It was a good day at work, but I learned a lot of things that I should be better at. And we should always be reflecting on our performance, who we are, what kind of service we're providing to our community, but also the kind of service we're providing to our crews and even to our families as well. My wife wouldn't be here if I was a shitbag and she didn't believe in me. So it's really something special. And I really do appreciate her being here. And I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this is working and you guys are enjoying it. So 50th episode of the C.A.N report. It started out as love and it continues with love. And I thought, what better than to celebrate than having you guys with me and having my wife with me. And also just want to give a quick shout out for a shirt that I'm wearing. Ash and Grit, great guys, Ash and Grit Company out of Los Angeles. If you are in the market for swag, as we all love our shirts, our t-shirts, our hats, all that good stuff, make sure you're checking them out. I really appreciate them. They just sent me some shirts today and I'm loving them. I couldn't wait to wear it. So Ash and Grit Company, make sure you're checking them out on Instagram. I got a new shirt today, by the way. I got three new shirts.
Too many shirts.
I don't know what to do with all my shirts, but I'm happy to wear this one. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. So we're going to get in the meat of it. If you guys haven't, please click like, subscribe. It helps to know that I can keep going with this, that you guys are appreciating what I'm doing. And it helps to continue to grow this. And this came out of love. This came out of passion of being beaten down by certain people and certain departments and feeling like I didn't have a voice. And I decided to create this platform and give myself a voice and give others a voice. So it's not just for me, but it's all for all of you. And it's been pretty therapeutic and I'm really enjoying it. So Krista Goldstein, she is my beautiful wife, my partner in crime. And I just really appreciate you doing this with me. It means a lot.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. So I wouldn't be here without Krista. Krista Goldstein, tell me or tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am married to Mike. I'm a fire wife. I'm also a daughter of a fireman and a granddaughter of a fireman. So it's no stranger being married to one. I think it's like a lot of people think it's hard. It is hard, but I think I was just used to it, I guess. It's like just normal life for me. I actually did want to say something about your post this morning. Like I read your post this morning and I thought that was really nice. But I think it applies to like everybody, and no matter like what you do, like your personal life or your private life, or if you're a fireman or a hairdresser like myself, I could like insert other things there that I slack on or don't do properly all the time because being lazy. Yeah. So it was really nice. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's when the moment hits you and you get that inspiration, and it's just literally working with the crews I worked with yesterday, and we had good calls, nothing crazy, but I knew that my performance should have been better from, all the stuff I do in here and everything I preach. I should be better. But like you said, it also applies to your world as well. I think it should apply to everybody's world.
Everybody, yeah.
Everybody should try to get over their egos and try to improve themselves for their family. Whether you're, again, if you're a first responder, not a first responder, if you're having a bad day as a parent, you should go back and reflect of maybe how could you have done your day better, right?
There's
It's
so
tough
much
being a
of
parent, right?
that.
So um, Krista and I met almost 20 years ago, and it's been a journey.
Yeah, it's almost
And
20 years.
we've learned from each other. We've learned from mistakes we've made. We've recovered from the mistakes we've made, and we've come out better on the other side.
I haven't made it.
I've made all the mistakes. And so Krista has taught me as much as she has taught me.
Oh,
And I really wanted us to focus on um, the fire side of things, being a fire wife, and the struggles that you've had watching me struggle and going through life, and the how we've learned how to be better, to focus on the important mission of being a family and supporting each other. Also, big thing is we talk about is organizational betrayal. At the Fire Wives Club, they talk about it. Tracy McCart and Kathy Edwards and Dina Ali. They talk about
yeah.
organizational betrayal. Chief David Rhodes and Dina, they both talk about it. There's a lot of others that talk about the same thing. And I really think that we should work together as a whole to get over this toxic work environment that is bringing a lot of people down. And so you've seen it firsthand how it affected me. You saw how excited I was in the fire service when I first started.
Well, I think the hard part is like when it's good and normal, it's hard anyways. And so then when you have a toxic work environment, it makes like an already hard situation unbearable almost. So at first it was like call firefighter and it was like it's gone all the time, and but I had like really a lot of support from like our family. You know, my mom gets it, and then but it was like a lot of stuff. Mike missed like a lot of stuff. But when he was there, he was like super present with the kids, which is always been, you've always been really good at that.
And it wasn't even too because the schedule I worked as well. When I started, I was a dispatcher, and so I worked a lot of night shifts, so it was gone a lot.
That's funny. Like my clients were always asking me like, how do you, don't you get alone? Like, aren't you alone at night? Like, how do you live with somebody who works nights? And I was like, I don't know, live by myself and moved in with somebody who works days and nights and just seemed normal.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd say then um, you also had a job where you were working a lot after that, like another dispatch job was like a lot of hours. And then you left there because it was toxic as well. And then um, moved into your department that shall remain nameless, apparently. And that was like really hard for me to watch because Michael's a hard worker and he takes pride in what he does. And I just like the place that's supposed to be like a family for you was just like beating him down. And I think the harder part was watching him like second guess himself and not believe in himself and coming home and like it was like ruled our lives essentially. Like it was so bad. And he was like this person I like felt like was not the same person I knew before. I do a lot of listening to everybody's problems at work all day long. So it was sometimes hard for me to come home and like listen to like more problems. It was like same stories. It was over and over again. Um, but I think that was the hardest part for me was like watching someone you love be so like kicked down by somebody else who I would say like, I mean, we psychoanalyzed that like a million times. So you can tell yourself it's like, it's not you, it's the other person. It's because of this, it's because of that. But like at the end of the day, it's just, it will wear you down and it will wear your family down. So that was very difficult.
Yeah. And I felt like we talked about it before. I felt really bad that I would have such a tough day at work, and it wasn't even a tough call. You know, the calls weren't bad, but the environment was bad. And I would come home, and I would I would just complain. I would unload on you and just complain about everything that that person
Like
did,
as you
and
should, and
as you
that's
should.
my
But
job to listen.
I think that wives, yeah, and or spouses, it's their job to listen, like you said, but it's not the only
Well, I
job.
think the
And
other thing that's hard is like I work, I have kids, and so like my plate's already like really full. So then when you have somebody like who's also needs like so much of you in that moment, it becomes like very difficult because I don't always have that much of my plate to give, you know. So I think that that became stressful as well.
yeah, and you're absolutely right. It comes wicked stressful, and it's
Mm.
I think it's taxing on everyone because I just made me feel guilty. It made me feel guilty that I was coming home and just literally just I was I was already annoyed. I was already agitated. I'm complaining about he said this and they did that. And we didn't do this and we didn't do that, or passed over for promotions. I'm losing sleep. Um, I'm feeling sick,
Mhm. Like
and
migraines
migraines
increase.
increased, and that stress level increased, and it was all in the home front as well,
Yeah.
and it was a hard struggle for sure. And you always just listened and was stayed by my side. And do you think, because your dad obviously again being on the job for 28 years, I don't know if he dealt a lot with what I had in my environment, but do you think that maybe equipped you for some of that to be a little more thick skinned?
Mhm. I don't know. I don't ever remember my dad like having problems at work. Um, I think doing life the hard way
Yeah.
made me equipped to deal with that. I don't know.
Okay. Good to know.
I think I'm really good at seeing things from other people's point of view.
Yeah. But again, you being a daughter of a firefighter and a granddaughter of a firefighter, you understood like my dedication and passion, almost addiction to going to calls all the
So my
time.
mom says you're worse than my dad.
Yeah, I probably am a little bit worse than your dad. But I always tell the story
But
that
that's good.
something,
That's what you want.
and I'm not proud of is we talked about before. I talked with a bunch of other people is um, how I would just pawn the kids off of somebody else to go get a fire call. You know, that famous word would come in,
Yeah.
structure
We
fire,
left
and
our kids and our nephew at Sarah Brown's house down the street. They had a great time though.
they had a great
She's happy
time.
to
But
help.
and again, I miss birthdays. I remember, again, what was it, the 13th birthday? We're going out to dinner as a family.
Oh, no, it's longer than that.
The structure fire came in, and we're
Like
about to
eight.
leave. The tones dropped, and it says structure fire. And I said, I'll be right back. And you were not happy with me.
We were at Greenleaf. Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't want to eat at
Who
Greenleaf?
doesn't want to eat a green leaf?
But you want to catch a fire.
And at the time, I
It's
didn't.
pissy.
Yeah, you were not happy.
No.
And reflecting on it, I missed a lot of things that we could have done as a family for not just, I wouldn't say the department that didn't care, but it's really the one person that didn't care.
Mm.
And um, looking back, I did so much sacrificing for somebody who didn't care whether you were sacrificing or not. And because he flat out would tell you, like, if you didn't want to do it, you didn't have to. I didn't make you. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I would come home and like, again, I did a great job. I was proud of what we did. And then I was immediately pissed off because he would crap all over us about what we did wrong, or, he didn't care if we were tired. You need to go to work. And it's your fault that you signed up to do that job.
Yeah, and I think when you're so passionate and you're giving 110% and you're missing family stuff and it's like not ever, you feel like it's never paying off. Like it's never, um, I don't want to say rewarded because I don't think that's what anyone's really looking for in the job, but
Look at that.
like um, to be thanked or to have like your boss talk to you about like the call in general or the aspect of like missing things with your family. um, I think that eventually then why would someone want to continue to work for somebody like that?
That's the hard struggle right there. Why do you want to continue? And you're a driving force of me changing departments and moving on and realizing
Yeah.
that I was better than that, and that I needed to change my environment because that was
Well,
not
yeah. So the
conducive.
funny part now is Michael comes home and he's like, "Oh my god, my boss told me I did a good job today." And I was like, "Well, of course your boss told you you did a good job today. Like you are a good worker." And it's always funny to me that you're so shocked or surprised when you're like, "I got a good review," or they want me to do this and or do that. And I think that it's fun to watch because it's almost like rediscovering yourself. Like,
That's a great way to put it. I think you're absolutely right. Rediscovering yourself, um, that I had now have this new lease on life, and then I don't have to complain all the time about the person that I'm coming home with. Again, being proud and coming home. It's not all about accolades and getting the pats on the back, but when you have a good shift, it's nice for someone to say, "Hey,
yeah,
good
like
shift."
now it's like stories about like working together with your other coworkers, or I don't know, it could just be like cooking dinners.
It really makes a difference having that camaraderie, having people that actually care about you and check up on you, and not just doing it because for the status quo.
Mm.
Because that's usually what would happen is it would be, um, he knows somebody was pissed off and maybe looking to leave, which he didn't care for the most part, but would play the nice guy for a few months and then get
Oh,
you to
I
come
think he
back.
can.
Yeah, and then it would spiral all over again. And
Yeah.
like you've seen the ebbs and flows of it.
And I can see where someone's relationship can fall apart if that's what they're living every day. I mean, I think firefighters have like a high divorce rate, like cops. I think that's common in those industries. It's probably like a good chance because that organizational betrayal is probably more common amongst your jobs
Yes.
than other jobs, which is sad because you're supposed to be like a family.
And you're 100% right. The organizational betrayal, you feel like you're alone, and then you feel like your family is cut short. And again, you've seen it firsthand where I feel like I didn't have anybody, and
Mm.
that I think about Tracy McCart and Kathy Edwards and the interview I had with them and their article that they wrote about organizational betrayal of how their husbands would come home and feeling the same way I did, just alone. They felt like they didn't have anybody they could trust, and they were distant to their families. And you guys were there having to be that support, and it's like double duty, like having to not only support us on the tough calls, but now you're also having to support us on the stuff that's not right. When we're feeling cheated, when we're feeling um, that we weren't treated right, that things are definitely unfair, and there's nothing we can do about it. We're up against that wall, and we don't want to leave the jobs because, again, what if we don't like it? And that was the biggest thing that we talked about was, well, what if I don't like it here? What if I don't like it there? Is the pay going to be good? If I don't like it there, I can't go back to the previous department. They've already told me that I can't come
Yeah.
back, and it's a tough thing for you having to be like, it's going to be okay, and we'll get through it and
I
find
think
a
I
different
just
job.
always believed you just land where you're supposed to. That like it would, if it worked out, that that's where you're supposed to be. Like, yeah.
So now, with you growing up in the fire family, what are some fond memories of
Fond
being with your dad or being with your
memories.
grandfather? Because your dad told me a lot of stuff about how, again, he did the same thing, like big fire, the lumberyard fire in Nashua
Oh,
many
he
many
probably
moons ago,
dragged us,
and
me and Caitlin,
he's
to
like he
it.
handed him off to your grandparents. Here, you gotta watch the girls. I gotta go fight this fire.
Yeah, I think it was convenient that my grandparents were in downtown Hudson. I do remember multiple times like going to get ice cream or something, and then a call coming in, and Dad's like, "Woo, woo, we're gonna go buff this fire," and he'd take us with him. Um, so that's fun. That's a fun memory for me. I think that's funny. I think I remember when we moved to Milford and there was a scanner in the little white house that Rosie and Tom gave you. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, a scanner." I was like, "A scanner? I don't even hear a scanner. It's like just background noise that I grew up with." Um, and actually funny about the scanner too is with Happy, that was also like he had his little on his hip all the time, and then they would come get their hair done at the salon, and it would go off, and, and everyone in the salon would be like, "What the hell is that?" They're like, "Oh, it's just a scanner. Don't worry." Oh, I was thinking, oh, we just had that camping trip. We went to New Jersey with the softball girls, and one of the dads kept joking because he's like, could not start a fire, and I started the fire. And he kept joking about how I was a little firebug and liked to play with fire. But it was really funny because growing up we had camp, and my dad was like the what was that? I don't know. It's probably like it was a pretty large cardboard box he took, and he like filled it full of pine needles and leaves, and he's like, "We're gonna learn about fire behavior today," and lit it on fire inside, and then was like cutting holes in it, like why you break windows and what that does to the smoke and the fire. It was pretty funny. Probably not many kids do
No,
that
and
when they're like 8.
you got to do a lot of stuff though too. Like he took you to some live burn trainings. You got to put on the gear.
I did. I like thought about being a firefighter for a while. I like trained to take the CPAT test with my dad. We used to like to work out together a lot. I did get to go to at the dump, the Nashua training
Hmm.
grounds. Yeah, the smoke building. I get to put on all the equipment, feel my way around in the smoky building, go on the ladder up high.
Yes,
My mom was even there for
you got
that.
to do things that a lot of kids didn't get to do when they were younger. And what's nice is seeing that happen with Quinn, our
Yeah, I
one
was gonna
daughter.
say I did not go to Explorers. Like, I don't know if that was. I'm surprised my dad didn't make us do that.
But that was pretty neat that that Quinn, our daughter, we have twins, and she's into right now the fire service. She's done the Explorer
Yeah, she
program
loves
2 years in a row, and she's all in right now for it. She's got her fire T-shirts on.
She
She
loves it.
got to go to her live fire in New Ipswich, and really happy to see her get that bug and to want to be a part of it and just do more. And it's just cool because your father, I could see how excited he is,
Oh, pumped.
and hear all those stories, and
Hmm.
living vicariously through her and through me. And also we have our his other son-in-law Chuck, my best friend Chuck. We're both in the fire service, so he gets to live through all those stages that he did it, and I
My
think that's really fun.
sister and I laugh that my dad forced them to become firemen, forced his son-in-laws to become firemen. Greatest job in the world.
And I think that's really cool that such a bonding experience. So, as a grandparent to a grandchild, to be able to talk to her about that
Yeah.
and tell her some things that he learned along the way, and help her to just develop that passion even more if she wants to do that.
Hmm.
And he got to teach and give a presentation. It rejuvenated him again, and I think that's really fun to see. Where I had him on the show, and he talked about you get to a sour point, and that's when you're supposed to retire.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, and I understand what he's saying with it, but it's very unfortunate that you have to get to the point that you become sour, and then it's time to leave. But now
Hmm.
I think it rejuvenated him with the Explorer program, um, of us doing the Explorer Academy. He wanted to do a presentation. He developed a
Yeah.
PowerPoint, and he had a whole thing he was saying, and he was amped up again. And
Yeah.
there's his granddaughters in it, and there's 50 something other kids that are there to listen to this guy talk about his experience, his knowledge in Nashua. And he had some really good photos from back in the day, and
Hmm.
some really good knowledge and education that he gave him. And I think that's really cool to see that it brought that passion back. And now he doesn't have to just talk to me or Chuck, but he gets to talk to Quinn
Yeah.
about those things.
Yeah. That was cute the other day. They're out on the deck talking. We actually thought my dad was talking to himself. He was talking to Quinn about fire stuff on the deck.
And I think just amazing to see. And then, like you said, like your mom said, I think Mike's worse than your father with being kind of addicted to this, if you will. And I think another thing that I love, um, what's so amazing about you is your patience and your support of also letting me go to all these training conferences that I've gotten to go to.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
if anybody's listening, it doesn't look like anybody's listening, but if anyone's listening, I didn't go to crap before. I didn't go to any training conferences when I was on my previous department. I think maybe went to two, and they weren't really well received from that department. Fast forward to my new department, new lease on life, and I was amped to go. When I asked assistant chief, "Hey, can I go to this training?" The fact that he said, "I fully support it. just bring back everything that you learned so you could teach us. That was like my green light to go, okay, I'm going to go to trainings now. And I hit I hit the road running. And the fact that you were like, yep, go ahead. You sometimes you're not happy. And I'd kind of be like, hey babe, can I go to a fire conference maybe next week? And we'd have to plan real quick. But
maybe a little too many the first year.
the first year was a little too many. I gotta admit, it was just so exciting to go all of them. But it takes a lot for a family to run, especially when somebody's gone for a week, 1 month, and then the next month another one, or 3 weeks in 1 month. And you that takes a lot of support from you,
Thanks.
and I appreciate you doing that.
People need to do that though. Like, go be with your friends, go get like amped up to do your job again. Like, everyone should always do continuing education whenever they do, just not 4 or 5 times. I mean, I used to go to hair shows.
Yep, you'd go to hair shows, and I always fully supported that. But it means a lot that you understand how important it is to me to go to these conferences. It brings you that, again, that rejuvenation. It brings life back into you.
Yeah.
And work becomes mundane. I mean, we're firefighters, but
it's funny to see you guys come back from Fire Explorer Academy, like
amped up, right? Yeah, the Explorer Academy. It really that first
even the
year.
First year you did it without Quinn, like, you came back and you were so pumped, like you had been at camp yourself as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it was really fun.
That was really fun.
Watch,
yeah, and that's really cool to see that from your side of it, of that new Mike. That coming back just excited, not moping around or pissy, but coming back from a week of just teaching kids how to just live a fire life for the week, and you're there excited for me and to hear all the fun stories and some of the not fun stories, but you were there supporting me and just love to listen to all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what, again, keeps me going to do the Explorer Academy year after year, because it's a commitment. And the fact that also we're planning not just the week before, but we're planning all year. And you're having to listen to me complain.
Don't let Mike fool you. He likes to go up there because all the kids love him and think he's like God, like the president.
They are super great kids, but you know what? I think if you're a crappy person and you're not in it for the right reasons, the kids are going to see that.
Oh,
and if you truly care about the kids and you truly care about the mission, the kids see that even more. Yeah. And that's, I think, why they kind of like seeing me and really want to talk to me. I think it's kind of that father figure as well. Like, I think the mustache helps for kids to want to warm up to me.
And they draw like a picture of you with your mustache and your muscles.
But you have to be real with them, but you can't have that ego like we talked about earlier. And I think that's really important to bring that to the Explorer Academy. And we only want the people there who care about the mission. Mm-hmm. And again, those people who are struggling in work and in life and looking for an outlet, the Explorer Academy is a way to go. If you ever want to see what it's like, if you want to help, you just reach out to me and we'll point you in the right direction. Or
is that a commercial?
It is a commercial for the Explorer Academy. But I also, conferences as well, like Bearers of the Oath. I came back, and also it was just amazing stories I told you.
My God, Mike's got all these friends now. We got to go all these places.
We got to go to Texas because I got to see my Texas friends. I tell them all about you, and then I tell you all about them. And we need to make it to Cibolo, Texas. We need to make it to Live Oak and visit all of our Texas friends. And it's important for them to know.
Fun fact: Mike wanted to go in 2 weeks to Texas in July.
I'd go in August. It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
But the fact that I made so many friends outside of New Hampshire and be able to tell you all these great stories and like you were there and you love listening to them is, again, it's just supporting me through all of it, supporting me through the downs, supporting me through the ups. And, again, it's super important for people to have a really good relationship and a open communication with your spouses. If you don't tell them about work, you don't tell them that you're struggling, you're just going to keep digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And
or if your spouse doesn't listen, like, that's not good. Like because you need to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And there's
Mm.
also outlets as well for wives specifically to talk to other spouses. There's again the Fire
Mhm.
Wives Club. I really like to promote them because they've gotten together. They've created a great group, core group of women that are there to help other spouses who are struggling.
Mhm.
They're at conferences like County Fire Tactics. When you go to County Fire Tactics, one of the reasons why I do love that conference, not only just for the incredible information that is there and all the instructors and networking, but that
Mhm.
it's also family oriented. Bring your wife, bring your kids, um, hang out at the pool, go to the beach, get discounted drinks, get discounted food, and they do a spouse track,
Yeah.
and you can hang out, and all of you, everybody hangs out at the beach or at the pool and gets together. And then there's a spouse track where it's just about the spouses. They can talk about what's going on, talk about how to get over things, numbers
Mhm.
to give. They build a whole connection for wives to have a support group, and that's super important because I mean I hate to, I don't want to speak for you, but I imagine it's kind of sometimes be a lonely world when your spouses are working a 24, a 48, or even if they're coming home and they're struggling, you don't know how to help them. So I think a lot of spouses need that. Like you said, open communication is key. And if you're not talking to people, you don't know where to go. So
True
the
story.
true story.
True story.
So I think it's I love that you've been my support system, and again, that's why I wanted you on here is to say thank you, to be uh, to how proud I am for you supporting me and in this
Oh, you're
program
sweet.
and this platform, and
Mhm. You were
um,
like built to do this, though.
it's been great, babe.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's listening, if anyone is or not, but um, you got to grab a strong woman like that because if when you're struggling and you need someone the most, it's your family. And I've said it before, and I always say it again: like work is work. It's always going to be there. Um, the fire service is not going anywhere. The doors will keep opening. The trucks will roll out the door, and they'll go on the
Mm.
next call, and they're going to do it without you. And if you spend your whole time at work, working your 96 hours, working all the overtime, the money's great, but then you're missing all those things. And
Yeah.
I and
Stuff
I
you can't get back.
and I did that a lot when I was on my previous department. I was always working. I felt like I could not leave. I had to be there. I felt guilty for leaving work more than feeling guilty for not being there on vacations. I felt guilty not being at work
Mm.
because I felt like I was going to get ridiculed for taking vacation. I felt like I was going to get made fun of or get a guilt trip because I took another vacation or took another day off.
And that is funny because at your now department, like Mike takes more time off than he ever has ever since I've known him because he's like comfortable to take time off. So
Because I
I
know the
feel like,
place will continue to run without me,
yeah, yeah,
and that they promote that. Like, if you want to take time off, you've earned it. But now it's
that's what they
also
give it to you for.
in smaller departments, you don't have the luxury of working swaps a lot either. So,
Yeah.
and I had that problem where we didn't have the availability to do swaps because it was only like 6 guys on shift.
Hmm.
So when you wanted to take time off, you had to compete with other guys who were taking the same days off. So you couldn't take those weeks off. You had to coordinate with everybody within those 6 guys, and it made it difficult.
Yeah.
And again, guilt trips as well about taking too much time off. And now again, that new lease on life, like I'm going
Mm.
to enjoy it and see the world, see these fire conferences, and be able to spend time with my family, go to softball games, and take my kid to Explorer Academy, and
Yeah.
just stay home. Again, because the place
So
is
I
going
can
to
go
keep
out.
running, so you can go out. And it's really important though, like, and you even said, like I've talked about with other people, that what I love that you do as well is that you let me know it's okay to sit and chill. Like I don't have to be constantly feeling guilty because I'm not mowing the lawn, or I didn't vacuum the floor, or I came home either working at 24, but it was a
Yeah,
tough
but
24
I
or a
think you
tough
extend
48.
that same grace to me.
Yeah,
At the same time,
but
I'm
it's
like,
that working relationship, and
might
I
have a day
know
off and not do anything.
we're constantly like that moving forward. Like we always feel like we have to be on the go.
The house looks like shit no matter what. So like, might as
It's
well just
true.
leave
It's true.
it.
But I
I should say lived
it's cool that you remind me that it's okay
in. Mm.
to chill, to take a
Although one
break.
time I told you you were useless to me on your days off, your
Yes.
first day off.
Yeah.
Because you generally are tired. I feel like
Yeah.
that you work one, you get three off. That like first day is usually
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's an adjustment to your body, adjustment to your mind, and
Yeah.
but again, I do think it's great to have a important support system that you're going to be there, letting me know, you can do more or you can do less. Don't tax yourself out. We need you here for the long run. And
Mm.
again, anybody listening, it's really important to understand that you need to be there for your family, and you can work all the shifts you want, but they're the ones who are going to be missing you, and you need to be there for them.
Mm.
And if you finally finish at like 60 something years old and you've missed everything because you're constantly working shifts, they'll be there, but you're kind of going to be that stranger.
Just wait
And
until your kids are teenagers and then they don't want to be around you
well,
anyways.
I was thinking about that today, to be honest with you. Like, it was again, I'm always having deep thoughts, and one of the things I was thinking is like, right, we have teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
You're not as cool as you used to be because they're in that
Uncle.
phase, right? But I was their hero when they were 5 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
And now they've got other things. They got boyfriends, they've got sports, they have other extra activities, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not so much that hero anymore. But they still want you around, even though they don't say it. They still
Yeah,
need you
they do.
there.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, if I've realized that now that I need to be here more for those important years, and um, working a bunch of overtime is fantastic, and you want to help your department out and you want to make some good money, but again, when it's all said and done and you retire, um, you're going to miss those important years, and you don't want to be a stranger to your family, and um, figure out what to do next because you don't know what to do with yourself, and your family's like, yeah, we're off doing something else, we've already made plans without you.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for the fire wives out there
Mm.
to help them if they're ever struggling, or especially again for our experience of dealing with like a toxic work environment and dealing with organizational betrayal? Um, you've lived through it with me. What do you
Mm.
have?
Well, I think as much as I say it's important that like you talk to someone, like you talk to me, like I felt I like the I had the privilege of being able to vent at work to my clients sometimes. And I think that that really helped. Also, to hear like a bunch of people say what utter horseshit that was. So, if you don't have like, so as much as it's important for like your husband or your wife to talk to you about their toxic work environment, it's also important for you to have like a friend or a therapist or someone that you can talk to as well about how, because it obviously affects you. Like I was also angry. um I think it's also super important to have some sort of outlet. I like to work out, I like to craft, I like to read, I like to go to the beach, and I think all those things are important to do for yourself, just like Mike needed his things to do for himself. um And then I think the other thing that is, I mean, maybe not important, but that I think that like we are really good at that helped us is that like we're really good at setting goals and working together to accomplish them, no matter like how long it might take.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think setting goals is really, really important. And I think that the open line of communication is key. And you nailed it, is that you have to make sure you're talking with each other. You have to make
Yeah.
sure that you're being real with your spouse. And the guys, the same thing, is that it's a two-way street. You keep saying everything's just fine, you don't have the open line of communication. And I need to make sure that I'm talking to you.
Mm.
And it's tough. It's tough when you have those hard calls, or there's just tough days of dealing with people that just want to drag you down,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to talk about it and get agitated and annoyed by any questions. And I think what you said, for especially for wives, is talking to, just keep it open, setting goals, and being real with each other.
Yeah.
Um, we get some shout out here. Look at that. We got Paul Conway.
Oh, dang.
We got some people here. Lone Star Bomberos, Alejandro, Daily Refinery. We actually got some people in here. Ash and Grit. How you doing? thank you guys for everybody for tuning in. Hooks it, New Hampshire, Hooks it Fire. Um, what's going on, everybody? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It means a lot to me. I appreciate you guys supporting us and doing this. And I'm trying to figure out how to actually go through this and look at questions and messages, but I'm still trying to figure that whole thing out. But I really appreciate you guys logging in and giving your input and understanding that it's important for us to talk together as a team and being there for each other. Like Chris, actually you said it again. There's a high divorce rate
Mm-hmm.
with spouses with within the fire service and police and EMS,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a stressful world, and we need each other more than ever. This the crazy things going on too is that we need each other more than ever is because we we have people shooting at us now. Firefighters never had to worry about that before, and the unfortunate events that happen in Idaho is tragic and horrible. And now
Mm.
we have to deal with these other things that are coming at us. We only had to deal with fires and maybe people coming at us with a knife or because they're upset or they're high, but now we got people taking snipers at us. We got people that are it might not affect our world right now, but I see it and it's in the back of our head now.
Yeah, it's just like another layer of
Another
stress.
layer of stress,
Like
and then
high level stress.
you throw on um, either a boss that doesn't care about you and doesn't care about that stress, because we're all stressed. Honestly, like we all act like we're cool on the outside, but sometimes we're that duck on the water. Where everything's calm and cool, but underneath those legs are kicking a lot because we're just trying to stay afloat and we're trying to figure out as we're rolling. And when you have people that aren't there to support you, it just adds that pile on.
Yeah, when you have like a high stress job, and then you have like your sleep isn't regular, which is also another stress on you. So it's like all the things that are just regular about your job are already like elevated stress. So like no one really needs bullshit from your job just adding more stress. If you really think that's why, like, do you guys have a higher cancer rate? I don't know if it's so much chemicals. It's like stress.
Stress turns into cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's proven, it's documented that these are the issues we have to deal with on the daily.
Yeah.
And again, we're bringing it home. It's not just about clean gear, but it's about clean minds.
Yeah.
And cleaning that stress level. And what I like about you talk about working out, you're eating right, you do the ice plunges, the cold plunges. These are all things to help alleviate that stress, and we all can do it. Firefighters actually gotten really a lot better with staying up on those new trends to help make us better to stay healthy and to relieve that stressful environment. There's a lot more gyms that are at home now that firefighters have done, and I think that's really key. That we're working out at home to relieve those stress levels, and we're trying our best to make sure that we're living a long, healthy, sustainable life for our family and for our kids. And um, social media, it can be a hard thing to manipulate. It's something that I do, but all that doom scrolling that we do, and we sit on the phones, and I'm just as guilty as all I do is scroll. You do the same thing, but there's also a lot of good outlets out there as well, where there's people with some really good advice.
Yeah, good ideas, good advice, or inspirational. I mean, I think it's just you got to know when to like wake up and get off your phone and go do the things you're looking at.
Right, you gotta watch your kids. You gotta watch them grow and learn. You gotta get off the phone, take that break. The Faith in Firehouse. Invest in your marriage. Counseling will help you both learn to communicate, uncover things about yourself and you can't see. And Ashton, great answering back. It helps build that foundation we all need. Absolutely, amen. And that was a big thing. I when I came back from Bearers of the Oath, that was that awakening again. That again, we're not a spiritual household. We don't pray a lot, but it opened my eyes to understand, like again, communication and knowing there's bigger forces out there, and that we can talk about what plans God has for us, and that it's okay to believe in a higher faith whether you need to pray or you just need to talk, or um, you know, that we have that outlet. And that's what Bears of the Oath gave to me was, it's okay. You got to pray. If you need to talk to God, talk to
Mhm.
him. You have that outlet to talk. And there's groups out there that I get daily affirmations from my brothers from Bears of the Oath. I get texts every day.
That's
Um,
nice.
yeah, and you don't even know that because I never told you that.
Oh,
I
that's
get
nice.
daily texts. It's a group text, and we get these quotes that Shane sends us from a book that he's reading about the Bible, and literally some of these quotes that he gives me literally had to do exactly with what happened on my day.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's cool.
it was just amazing how it just happened to be exactly how I was feeling or what I was thinking. He sends me that quote from the book that he's reading,
Mm.
and it just put everything in perspective. But it's those brothers like that. That's the outlet. And again, organizational betrayal. The article from the Firewives Club, they talk about that. You need to find an outlet,
Mhm.
guys and girls. You need to find that outlet. You need to go to conferences, find people that get you, that you can connect with, so you can relieve that stress factor and not bring it home. And for me, that was Bears of the Oath, and I was Dadgum Fire Conference. I
Mhm.
getting that lit a fire inside of me that these guys were here not just to teach us cool fire shit, but they're there to actually teach us about life. And it's okay to 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 go up to a brother and talk and cry and get it out and come back better.
Mhm.
Um, and somebody just asked me why I'm not in the group chat with Shane. I don't know why, but it's really important that you have that outlet. And for guys who are struggling, and I've had people ask me the question before, where can I find these things? They're all online.
Mm.
Bears of the Oath. I'll give them an awesome plug. They're right now. They're going to have a class in February. Check out Bears of the Oath on Instagram and Facebook. If you're looking for a faith-based conference, that's what they're promoting. And it's not just, you're not sitting down reading out of a Bible, but you are doing live fire training. You are throwing ladders. You're getting down and dirty, but it's also family based. And that was, again, it was really cool to see is that there's wives, there's little kids, they're all running around the drill yard. They're having these tracks for spouses, so everyone could get together and see what we're doing,
Mhm.
to understand those stress levels, or just to see how much fun we enjoy the job. And it's not even the stress of it. Like for you to see what I do and to see the pure joy that I get out of it, that's important. And I love that they opened their doors to
That's
families.
nice.
And Daggum Fire Conference, the same thing. They opened up their doors, kids and wives around the fire grounds, and just seeing with the guys, just having fun, throwing ladders,
Mm.
forcing doors, getting smoked out, and coming out smiling, and then seeing our kids there watching what we're doing. Again, talking about the hero status, like there's nothing better than seeing your kid standing there as you come out of a live burn training,
Superhero.
right? I mean, that's smoke behind you, fire going on, like that's some superhero stuff. And
For
a
sure.
lot of kids don't get that.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see wives and spouses support their significant others to do that, because that means a lot. And Bears of the Oath is in Georgia. Um, it was in Douglasville last year. Honestly, I'm sorry, I forgot where it is this year, but it's still going on in Georgia in February. Um, just checking them out on Facebook and Instagram, you'll find that there. Shane Bentley runs it. He is an amazing person, full of love, loves God, loves Jesus, and he is a fantastic person. And again, when I came back, my heart was open, full of love, and I've made 50 more friends. And it
Yeah, you
is
did
such an
make a lot of
experience.
friends.
Made a lot of friends. But again, if you're a shitbag and you're not there for the cause, you're not going to make any
Yeah.
friends. If you've got egos, you're not going to make friends because you only care about showing off in front of others. It's not going to make any friends. You're just going to look like showboat and they'll be like, well, I can't teach this guy anything because he already knows everything.
Mm.
You
It's
got
always
to
one in
come
the
into
group.
these conferences humble, huh?
So it's always one in the
There's
group.
always one in the group. You got to come to these conferences humble. You got to go to these conferences ready to learn and ready to work hard.
Mm.
And a lot of people ask me what they're like. You got to be physically fit and physically prepared to do this as well. These conferences are no joke. So when you're actually doing this stuff, again, you're in gear, you're working out hard, and there's some workouts thrown in too if you want to do them. They're not going to force you to do things you don't want to do, but you're there to learn, to grow. So I recommend that you give it your all because that's what you paid for, and that's what they're doing for you. And again, they don't get paid to do that. Like Bears of the Oath, nobody's getting paid. They're there to give something back to all of us. So I definitely recommend that you check that out. Uh, Bears of the Oath on Instagram, on Facebook. They got their conference coming up in February. You can reach out to Shane Bentley, and he'll give you any information that you need. And again, I give love to my guys in Texas, Kevin Fluger, Tom Hollick, the Kano brothers, also Elite Fire Training with Jared Robinson. All these guys I met on all these conferences, and I get to tell you all about those stories and all the cool things they did. I've never come back saying this guy is a shithead. I didn't like this guy. That guy was stupid. I learned so much. Um, to Eric Hewitts is texting me. Is it a bad time to schedule a hen demo? Never. Let me know, man. We'll get a hen demo set up for you, bro. You just let me know.
Right,
Get your hen demos on. But honestly, we'll even talk about that. The fact that I hate to ramble, but because I got you here and it's live, but the fact is that I took on another responsibility and taking
Mike's
on.
a job collector.
I'm a job collector, and I think everybody in the fire service really is. I mean, your dad worked a bunch of jobs. He did a contract. He worked in his own home, built his own home.
Yep.
We all have these different trades in us.
Yeah.
And now I took on another responsibility to be a part of the hen family, which I'm super proud of. And I told you that I'm doing this. I said, hey, it might require some traveling, and you're okay with it. You were supportive of that. If you said nope, I don't want you doing it, I think it's going to tax us. I would probably beg a little bit, but then I would understand.
I don't think it's different than me going like, "Hey, Mike, we're gonna get chickens tomorrow," and he's like, "Okay."
You're absolutely 100% correct.
Like you're always game for all my crazy ideas.
Yeah. And you mentioned it before. Our house will look like shit or lived in. Another thing, a house is never perfect, but it's lived in.
Yeah.
And we have that great relationship where, yeah, you know what, our house is going to be messy, but that's the way it is.
If Mike sells lots of hen nozzles, I can hire a cleaning lady, and then our house will look not lived in anymore.
But I do love your outlook on life on that, and that you're not letting those small things bother you. Those small things become big things after a while. And I know things can get tough with us. We don't have a perfect life. People struggle. We struggle financially. We struggle with conflicting schedules. Travel softball league, band, Explorer Academy. Carrion Harper, what's up, my friend? The Explorer right there from Hudson. He was a great kid. And if any of my explorers are watching, my cadets are watching, thank you so much for a great week. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of it. You guys did all the work. We're just there. And again, Krista, my wife, if she didn't let me be a part of it, it would be a different,
Which I feel like you must have told the kids that 50 times.
I did.
Because they were like, "Thank you, ma'am, for letting us have your husband."
What were your outlooks on it? What did you think about, like, when you didn't actually get to see a lot of it because you've actually never been up there because our schedules, again, conflicting. You have travel softball, so you're with our other daughter.
Yeah, so
going to New York
either with Tegan for softball, and then I have to like work the rest of the week so I can take the time off to go to softball. I don't know. I like seeing the videos. You post a lot of videos, which is really good. They wished me happy birthday this year. That was so fun.
That was cool.
I did enjoy coming up this year though, and to bring you something and getting to see the kids all oogle over Michael. So funny. Tegan referred to them as stray cats following you around.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, got to see Quinn's dorm and all the kids and where they hang out, and a lot of people that help out and make the whole week possible, which is really fun.
How did you think Quinn was when she came back from Explorer?
Oh my God, she's like kind of like aloof a lot of the time. So when she came back from this, she was like you could see like a spark in her eye, like she was just more peppy.
Yeah.
And then she was excited Mike was going to the live burn the next day, the day after they got home, and she's like, "Can I go?" And Mike's like, "Sure." And later that day, our other daughter was like, "Whoa, Quinn's really up Dad's ass, huh?" And I was like, yeah, well, they're like, you know, they're all amped from their week. They did that together and they're all excited. And so now she wants to go do this with him. And she was funny because she was like, "I love you and I love going to softball, but like, no offense, I like my own room when we get home." But that's good. She told me that. I think that's full circle, goes back to our communication line. Like, so I also do know that like when we come home, like she needs her own space. I also need my own space so we can kind of like go decompress. But Quinn definitely was like full on, like, let's go do some more, you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah,
She had fun
absolutely.
that day. She came back from that day
And she learned a
all
lot.
pumped too.
Sorry, Mr. Harper, you are from Salisbury. My bad, and you are on fire, sir. um, and I thought it was really cool. She learned a lot from Ken Fluker. Actually, a lot of those kids did.
Mm.
Um, and honestly, it was cool to have that outside education come in. It was very beneficial. When she was at the library and training, she talked about exhaust. She talked about inlets. She
Mm.
talked about neutral planes. I mean, these are things that normal kids don't normally would know or talk about.
Yeah.
But she absorbed all that, and she got to do go inside, see the fire behavior, and she talked about that with our BC Thomas Beaumont, who was there with his other department, and she was talking about all this fire science,
Yeah.
and he was amazed that she was talking about these things. And he's like, he walked out of that building with her, and he said, she's talking about neutral planes and exhaust and intakes. I said, because she just learned it.
And then my dad didn't know what a neutral plane
Right,
was.
right, because
That
it's.
was funny.
And I said to your dad, like back in the day, that was something he really didn't know or talk about.
Yeah.
30 plus years ago, that wasn't really a thing that they talked about.
Yeah.
They just opened up the door and
Now
go
his
on in.
granddaughter can tell him.
And now our daughter can tell her grandfather about what she learned and the science behind
Yeah.
it, because we've gotten more science and data driven, which is fantastic. And again, support from you, it all comes back to that. It comes back to spouses understanding that there's certain things we would love to do and have passion and to do them, and we have to have those real talks. Can I do it, or can I not do it?
Mm.
Do we have the schedule to do it? Do we have the money to do it? And those open real world conversations we have to have. And again, my biggest thing is the 50th episode that I had, that I have right now, is all because of you.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I can't praise you enough for being here for me, for just being my support, being my rock, um, my ups and downs, my successes, my failures. We're gonna have a
Mm.
lot of them. We're gonna have a lot of failures, and hopefully have more
Of
successes than
course, of
failures. But
course.
it means so much that we're on this wild ride together, and that you're still stuck with me through all my complaining and the tough life.
Sorry,
Like,
I like to complain.
because the last 5 years wasn't easy.
No, it was not. But I think that if you think that life is all easy and sunshine and rainbows, you're like super delusional.
Yeah.
Because I think the good moments come after those low moments.
Right. It's the small victories.
Yeah. And it's kind of like you got to like ride the wave when it's good because it's like gonna crash again and you're gonna have to go through stuff. But I think all that stuff makes us like it's our relationship always better, like on
Yeah.
the other end, on the other side of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love you, babe.
I love you.
Do you have anything for our family out
Our
there?
family.
Our family, our big family that is watching right now. Again, this took a lot for me to coax her. This again, it was a lot of begging and saying it's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna like it. But for you, do you have anything advice wise or anything else?
Man, I don't know. We talked about a lot of stuff already.
You did.
I think most importantly, if you are a fire wife, you must love mowing the lawn.
Absolutely.
You must like doing yard work, snow blowing the driveway.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. I mean, man, I felt so guilty when
You
I'm
shouldn't
on
feel guilty.
shift.
I like doing that stuff.
But not everybody likes to do that, and the fact that
True.
you do it without complaining, except when you can't start something. You
Mm.
can't start the lawnmower, or you can't start the snowblower.
Oh, then
You're
Mike gets
texting
sad
me.
texts from me.
You're texting me. I can't start this friggin' thing. I don't know what's wrong with it, and I got to walk her through it, or just tell her to leave it. I'll get it when I'm coming home. But those are the things that we sign up for. That unfortunately we can't be home to do it. We can hire somebody
Mm.
to take care of it for us, or maybe someone would be nice enough to do it for free. But um, you always kick in and step up when that stuff needs to get done, and it just shows you how independent you are. And I always feel
Mm.
so comfortable that I know that if the lawn needs to be mowed or you got to shovel or snow blow, you're there. You'll do it, and it gets done. And I think that goes a lot with your dad though too. He's taught you some real world skills
Yeah.
of
I
just
think
getting shit
also when
done.
you're a team, like there's also days that like I come home from work and like, well, let's not get crazy. Mike Harley cooks, but like you will have like clean the bathroom or like vacuum the house and like do or mowed the lawn or whatever. But that like also when you're home and I'm away, like you get those things done as well.
Yeah,
So like divide and conquer.
divide and conquer, teamwork.
Yeah,
It pays a lot.
makes dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So thank you, babe, for doing that, being
Welcome.
on this. And I keep trying to figure out how to get the messages on Facebook, but I totally screwing that up. But our first time going live, so stuff's gonna happen. But I appreciate you guys for being a part of this. It means a lot. We got a lot more episodes coming up. Um, I have a bunch in the queue. I've got more lined up, and honestly, I want to thank everybody out there for being a part of this. You all are my family. This whole support group has been fantastic. And again, the reason why I started this was feeling um, down, was
Mm.
feeling depressed, and I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. And so when people ask me, Mike, why did you do this? Like, why did you start up a podcast? Because there's so many out there, and they're all such amazing podcasts out there. But mine was out of the sole purpose of feeling repressed, feeling like I didn't have a voice.
Mhm.
And since it is my 50th episode, I'll go into a little story, just real quick. Is that what really sparked it for me? And Krista, you were there for it. It was a pretty upsetting moment. Was when I had left my department, and I made a post that I shared a post from Dina Ali and David Rose about workplace PTSD.
Mm.
I had shared a post because now I said I can now tell my story. And when I said that, I made a post. Um, my post was then printed and then given to certain members of that department. And my words were used against me. And we had an association meeting, and I was supposed to be voted in as an honorary member. And I was just starting my new department. I was very excited, and so I'm on this meeting via Zoom, and a certain person said they wanted to talk about a certain topic, and he read my post and said anybody who talks like that about their department shouldn't be on this association and probably can't set foot in this department. Um, they misinterpreted because it wasn't about I wasn't crapping on the department, but talking about my
Mm.
story. And because it felt so threatened that I said that I can now tell my story,
Mm.
that triggered something. And they all didn't like that. They thought I was crapping on their department.
Mm.
And I was ousted from that association and pretty much told that I could never set foot in that department ever again. The department that I loved so much, department that I, I grew with, and we were family, and that was my identity
Yeah.
was Milford Fire, stickers,
And it's
and
like also one of those things if you like read that and took that personally, that means you were probably like part of the problem. And instead of reading that and feeling like sympathy for somebody that went through that, especially like your brother or your sister.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was really tough, and that's what really sparked me to start this journey and to be able to speak up and have a voice, and that I promised myself from that day I will never let anybody tell me I can't
Mm.
talk about my problems. And it hurt tremendously that I didn't have a lot of people who had my back, and I understand why. And I was very angry at first, but now I've forgiven them. But going on this journey,
Afraid.
yeah,
Yeah.
but going on this journey has helped me to be able to talk about it and let other people know it's okay to talk about these issues. That workplace PTSD, organizational betrayal, the toxicity inside those walls, it's real. It happens a lot, and you need to have an outlet, and you need your support system within your own home. So don't alienate your spouses, don't alienate your kids. They're the ones that you're going to be relying on to help you through these times. You need to make sure that you're having open lines of communication and talking about this, because it was a really tough couple of years dealing with a lot of
Mm.
things within those walls that I could never open up to anyone because I felt in fear of losing my job. I was in fear of some type of retaliation, and it grew for a while. And now I'm happy to say that I don't have to fear that anymore. Therapy helped a lot too, having to go to therapy, and
You're so funny. You're like went to therapy one time and you're like, oh my god, I feel so much better.
And then I had to go back.
And I was like, Mike should be a poster child for therapy. He's like, I went one time, I feel great.
But it wasn't easy. You have to get out of that comfort zone. Again, starting a whole new department at
Yeah.
45 years old,
Yeah, you were like really nervous
I
about
was
that.
really nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, I only knew one thing
I
in
mean,
one
I can get
department.
that because I feel like sometimes, like, if you have to like reinvent yourself, like, especially when you're like older, like, what does that look like? It's like people get so comfortable, and then if you have to go do something that you don't know about, it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah. And again, if you didn't
Well,
like
look at
it,
you now.
it's hard. It's hard. Though you got to meet whole new people and get to deal with all new personalities, and especially being older. It's sometimes people aren't that flexible
Hmm.
to deal with a whole new bunch of personalities. But you've got to be humble. Again, I can't stress enough for you guys out there. If you're dealing with this kind of environment in your workplace, and you've been dealing for years, and just no end in
Hmm.
sight, make the move. Find another place. I know we talk about, like, you know, the grass isn't always greener. You got to try mowing your own lawn. But I said before, you can only mow it so often, and then you're going to kill that grass, and then you're left with just a bald patch. You've got to start seeking things outside. If that culture is not changing, you need to find another place. It's okay. There's honor. We're all about honor. We're all about integrity.
Hmm.
You're not being that person. You're not without honor. You're just doing what's best for you and your family. So make
Hmm.
sure you guys do understand that if you're not in a happy place, you don't have to force yourself to go through that place over and over again.
Hmm.
There's other places to go. So, well, I think that'll be it. If you got anything else there, babe.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in for this live podcast. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll do it again. Maybe on our 100th episode, we can have another
100.
100th episode. Maybe we could do something. But I really appreciate all of you. Again, today, I'm very thankful and blessed for the support that I received from so many of you in reference to reflection, and that you have to look deeper within yourself, that we're not all perfect. Um, and if you think you know it all in the fire service, you don't. And you don't think you can grow, maybe it's time to retire. And my post was a lot about that you need to think about your performance, your attitude, and that we all can strive to be better. And I really appreciate all of you. And actually, hasty rescue strap. What's the transition from one department to another like? It was mine was lateral. So I had years in the system already, so I was a lateral transfer. So my probationary period was 6 months instead of a year. So it did help a little bit. It was still stressful because you want to make sure you're not coming in like a know-it-all. You want to make sure that you got humble humility, and that you're respectful. And it actually was. I found it to be easier.
I think because you did that though,
Yeah,
that they were kind of like, "What are you doing?
yeah.
Like, you know what you're doing."
And yeah, it wasn't like another academy. It was all lateral, and I think that really helped. I knew I needed to do chores. I knew that I needed to pick up that broom. I knew that I needed to know my trucks inside and out. Um,
Oh, but that's fine. Those are your posts that I like the most. Like keeping the firehouse, like making the coffee or sweeping or cleaning the bath. You're like always cleaning the
always
bathrooms.
cleaning bathrooms, and I enjoy those little things. Honestly, I really do enjoy the chores that we do. It makes you realize, or it makes you remember why you're here. And honestly, it's that quiet time. I think that's when I had those reflection moments. Is
Mm.
when it's that quiet moment after my shift or before my shift, whether I'm doing chores or cleaning the truck. Those are those
That
special moments.
physically housekeeping and mental
But it's that
housekeeping.
pride thing. And that's for me, is like when I'm cleaning the toilet, that toilet's never going to be like super clean, but
Mm.
it's still that effort that you have in pride in your station, that you're doing your very best to
Or
keep
that
it
like you're not too good to clean the
right. And
toilet.
nobody should
Right.
feel like I'm too good to do it, or I have 20 years on, I don't have to clean the toilet anymore.
Yeah.
Again, that if it's
Our
at that
kids are
point,
too
get
good to
out of
clean
there.
the toilet.
And Hank says laterals are pretty much unheard of here. Most departments start from the bottom, no matter how much time. Different worlds, yeah, they're very different worlds, but also trying times, Hank. Right? So we do have issues with trying to find personnel. So you got to find a way to grow your department, and lateral transfers are a very useful tool. Helps with recruitment and retention, and honestly, a lot of older guys have been doing a lot more lateral transfers to other departments, mainly because they've had these same issues that I've had. A lot of people in my department, they lateraled from somewhere else, and they told me the same story where they had the same thing, a toxic work environment. They had a chief that didn't care about them. The answer was always no on everything, training or otherwise, and they knew it was their time to go, and they lateraled to somewhere else so they could be on a better department and have a better team. And a lot of states are doing that around the world, around the states, because they're showing that it's actually increasing their numbers. Yeah, Ash and Grit, lateral or not, probation is about working hard, being humble, and learning the job, or is it lateral learning the job the way they do it? Yep, I agree, man. Like I had to learn the way they did it, and I was okay with that because I didn't know it all. I can't be a probationary member and act like you know it all. Your probationary period is not going to go too well. So you got to put that phone down. You got to open up the books. You need to open up your maps, and you need to just ask questions. Um, it makes it harder to leave a toxic department, but luckily most places around here are pretty good to work for. Awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear it, Hank. But yeah, um, that was a tough part though. Like I knew I could lateral somewhere else, and a lot of departments in the state they have in New Hampshire they have lateral transfers, but we don't have a huge full time area either. So we only have certain departments we can choose from. So you just don't want to throw something on the wall and hope it sticks. You want to do your homework and know that's going to be the right place for you, because either that you're going to have to go to other states and start from the ground up, like you said. But I was fortunate enough to start a department as a lateral transfer, 6 months of probation. I worked hard for it. I continue to work hard for it. Like we all said, right? Like just because you come off probation, you don't stop. You got to keep going. And again, that was that post for myself was I need to reflect and understand that I'm starting to let the screws get loose and I need to tighten them up and realize I still have a lot more to grow and learn from others. And those others that are teaching me are 20 years younger than me, but they are
Mm.
passionate about it and they have a lot of good information. And I can't shut my brain off just because they're younger than me. They know a lot. And let's see. Karen says, "Would you have any advice for me going into the fire service?" Yeah, man. You're doing the right thing, Harper. He's one of our cadets from the Explorer Academy. You're doing the right thing. You're going through the academy process, the Explorer Academy. You're asking the right questions. Don't stop just after the Explorer Academy. Well, especially if you're 16 or 17, keep going with it. Um, Make sure that you're getting educated. You know, take a like we said, we went to Lakes Region Community College. You can take your fire science degree program. You can do live-in programs and then start working your way up to get a full-time department. You got to send out your applications and make sure you're working hard to get that job you want. Um, so you're doing the right thing, Harper. Just make sure you keep working hard. And when it comes to the oral board process, making sure you know about that department. And when they ask you the important question of why did you pick this department? Why do you want to be on such and such department? Don't just say, well, you're the one who called me back first. That's a horrible answer. So make sure that you're actually doing your background information on that department. They're doing their homework on you. You do your homework on those departments you want to be hired from. Apply everywhere you can and don't stop. Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, guys, got it. When you're young, apply to places, do your homework, do ride times. Ask, really important. Ask about ride times. That's key.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's a good one because
yeah.
I'm like, you've had people do that at Derry, and then they can see how you guys operate
Yep.
and kind of get a feel
We
for
get to
your
see them,
vibe. Yeah,
and they get to
both.
see
Yeah.
us, and that's really important. If you want to try a department out and you ask for ride time, if they say they don't do it, that's their protocol, whatever. But at least they can give you a tour of the station and see what the area is like. But if you can do a ride time, that's really key. That's really important. It lets us know that you actually care about being on this department, knowing the community, and knowing what the members are like and what our apparatus is like. And when you're doing those ride times, ask as many questions as you can because that lets us know that person's really interested and they want to get this job.
I should make a list of questions for people to ask.
Should absolutely. That's why you're here, babe. Appreciate you. All right. Well, if anybody's got any other questions, I guess we can end it. Again, I appreciate you guys. Again, a big shout out to Ash and Grit Co. Dude, I love your t-shirts, man. I love the what you're doing for these new images. I like the anti-medic. Uh,
Is it this one?
no, this is the um, job security.
Oh,
It's got fireworks on the back, and it's a skeleton. So I love it, man. It's very, very cool. Thank you all. I really appreciate all of you for being on this. I know I kind of rambled, but it was just super cool to do this with you, Krista Goldstein, my wife. We have our anniversary coming up in late October, August, late August. So here's to what, 15? 15 more years? I dropped my mouse.
16.
16? Sorry, I dropped my mouse. 16? Yeah. Been fantastic. We have twin girls, 15-year-old girls. They're going to be turning 16 in November.
Mm-hmm.
We're very blessed. I'm very blessed to have you guys. Sorry for rambling. I love you all. If you guys have any questions, especially my young cadets, if you're listening, if you ever have any questions about how to get this job or how to stay motivated or workouts, I can always try to push you in the right direction. But for the state of New Hampshire, if you got any questions about jobs and whatnot for my cadets, I'm here for you. Reach out, can help you along. And for my third years, I hope to see you back as lieutenants. And for my second years, can't wait to see them back as third years. And
Quinn will be a third year.
Quinn will be a third year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you all. So I'm burnt out 25 years. Pino, I'm sorry, bro, to hear that. And burnt out is, again, I'll talk about it real quick. It's not just from the job, but it's being burnt out also from bad leadership. And there's, oh my God, Stephanie White. She runs a podcast, and she came out with an article about the burnout. And it's not burnout from calls. It's burnout from poor leadership, toxic work environments, PTSD. That's what's getting us burnt out.
A class.
He
needs a class.
He needs a class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that happened in my job too.
Being burnt out.
Yeah, like you get burnt out. You're like, oh, what am I doing? No.
Yeah.
It's like
you
the
say,
mundane.
Yeah, the mundane.
Yeah. So I don't know. Classes have always helped me feel like something new and something exciting to share.
Yeah.
Try a class.
And CC Pino, if you ever need help, if you need a direction, I can help. I'll try to help you the best I can. We have Next Rung that I love to promote. I have the card right here. Next Rung, they're awesome dudes. Their numbers are here. If anybody's ever needing to talk, I talk about them a lot. They're doing great things for us. So if you're feeling like you need to talk to somebody there, CC Pino, make sure you reach out. And if you need to message me, you can privately, and we can see what we can do for you and get the help you need, or just literally just vent. That's what we're here for. And Mr. Harper, I'm going back as a lieutenant next year. All right, man, I appreciate it. I love it. Can't wait to see you back next year. All right. Next Rung. Yes, sir. Pino, Next Rung. Blake Stennett, Charlie Brown. They're a great group of people. Faith, family, service mindset. Let's see if I can get you that QR code. There you go. Let's see if we focus. There you go. Focus, autofocus.
It's because I'm over here.
Next Rung. So make sure you guys, if you do need help, they're online, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. So make sure you are checking them out if you need help. They're helping a lot of people. They've helped a ton of people. So really appreciate those guys. So, all right, folks, I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. I love you.
Love you.
Thanks for being on the show. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. I got more podcasts coming up. And if you need any swag too, I'll do my own little promo. If you need any swag, I got it. You can go to my online store. It's on my Instagram link. So make sure you are checking that out. All right, guys, take care. Nozzle top.
Bye.